Breaking news right now on To The Point. A celebratory event turns deadly. At least 20 people shot at a Super Bowl parade in Kansas City. Bracing for more storms, the timing of all the rain and snow on the way. A family in mourning after an 8-year-old is killed on Highway 50, plus the warning for others out on the road. And later in the show, sharing their love of quilting, the local group using materials to represent Black culture, history, and people. First tonight, we're continuing to follow that devastating breaking news out of Kansas City. This is To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger. Alex Bell has the night off. At this hour, officials say dead and 22 others are hurt following a shooting. It happened at the end of a parade to celebrate the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl win. At least 8 children are among the 22 injured. 3 people have been taken into custody.
Today was tragic for everyone who was part of it. I had the chance to talk to my wife just a moment ago, who said we became part of a statistic of too many Americans, those who have experienced or been part of or connected to a mass shooting. That is something that I hope we all recognize is highly problematic for all of us.
At this point, it's not clear exactly how many shootings or shooters there are. Police do say there were 800 officers at the scene monitoring the parade and festivities as the shooting happened. We will continue to follow this story and bring you any updates on air and online at abc10.com. Tonight, we're also on storm watch. Rain and snow are already making their way to our area. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, who's tracking the timing of it all. Monica.
All right, for Valentine's Day, it is a snowy and rainy one, as you can see up at Donner Summit. Chain controls have been in effect on and off throughout the day. Some gusty winds up top as well. Here's a look at the radar, and you can see bands of rain continuing to press their way through the valley into the foothills and eventually making their way into the Sierra, where it turns over to snow, roughly at about 5,000 to 5,500 feet. We'll stay at that elevation through tonight as we continue to see this first in a series of 3 storms roll on through. We've already gotten about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of rain in some places along the coast, a little bit lesser amounts as we make our way through the valley, closer to about 1/10 inch or so. Here's a look at our peak wind gusts, most notable north of Sacramento through the central and northern part of the Sacramento Valley, as well as the Sierra. Still have that wind advisory in effect until 10 p.m. for parts of the Sacramento Valley. Winter storm warning and winter weather advisory also in place through tonight. The showers are going to come to an end as we head towards the midnight hours. A few lingering snow showers for the Sierra, but as we head into the afternoon, we'll kind of wind up storm system number 1. Then we'll quickly turn our attention to storm number 2, headed in on Saturday, the 3rd one on Sunday evening. Becca.
Monica, thank you. And you can stay up to date on the latest weather conditions with the free ABC 10 app. You can also send us video of storm damage in your neighborhood. Don't forget to turn on notifications. Tonight, a family is in mourning after an 8-year-old boy was killed on the highway on Sunday. Our Jeannie Nguyen spoke with the boy's mother today and shares her story. Jeannie?
Becca, this all happened on Highway 50 near 65th Street Sunday afternoon. The mother's car, a black Toyota, was partially blocking a lane after getting a flat tire. Now, these photos of her child was the one that was hit and killed. The CHP says the black Toyota was parked near a construction zone. The mother and her 8-year-old and 9-year-old children got out of the car and moved to the center median. The CHP says that's when a man in a Ford crashed into the family, killing the 8-year-old boy instantly and injuring her 9-year-old daughter. The mother says her son's life was taken too fast and she will do everything she can to keep his memory alive. He loved playing video games, SpongeBob, and did a good job of taking care of his dogs. The CHP encourages drivers to immediately call for help and get to a safe place to park as soon as possible before getting out of the vehicle.
Just wait patiently and call for some type of assistance. You can call 911 to get a CHP officer out there, or work on getting some private assistance out there as soon as possible. But once again, just exit the freeway. If your vehicle's drivable, exit completely off the freeway and get to a gas station or a parking lot where it's going to be a lot safer.
The boy's mother did tell us she was not hurt during this incident. Her 9-year-old daughter has major injuries and is still recovering in the hospital, and that she is doing okay. The CHP does say the driver who hit them is not facing any charges at this time. Of course, this investigation is still ongoing. The family does have 2 GoFundMe pages available to help cover the cost of medical bills and the funeral. The mom tells me her daughter is still recovering in the hospital and that she is doing okay. We have posted a link to those GoFundMe pages on our website at abc10.com.
Thanks, Jeannie. We're also learning more tonight about a deadly house fire in Sacramento. Police say a suspect is now in custody. Sacramento police arrested 28-year-old James Joseph this morning after investigating the fire as suspicious. The Sacramento Fire Department says a man was found dead inside the home. 2 other people escaped on their own. We spoke with a neighbor who remembers hearing a commotion before seeing the flames outside her window.
And all of a sudden, we just heard people screaming, things breaking, and we thought just, somebody was getting into an argument. But then I started smelling the smoke.
The suspect faces arson and homicide charges. He was booked into the Sacramento County main jail. The victim's identity has not been released yet, and the investigation is ongoing. If you have any information, please do call the Sacramento police at the number on your screen. Callers can remain anonymous. Fentanyl has become a serious issue across the state, and now a newly proposed bill could make it a felony if someone is found with fentanyl and a firearm. This already exists for other controlled substances. ABC 10's Devin Truby spoke to supporters who say it's time for fentanyl to be treated the same.
But on October the 3rd, my husband and I got a call after he spent the night at a friend's house in our neighborhood, and my son didn't wake up.
Rhonda Manning's son, Major, was supposed to graduate from high school this year. Now the only cap and gown photo she has of him is from kindergarten.
The only thing worse than losing someone you love is knowing that they didn't have to die, that their death was preventable.
3 months ago, her son was out with friends, and they decided to try what they thought was a Percocet. It was fentanyl. He died a few hours later. His death just one of the reasons Stockton Assemblyman Chris Villaputa is introducing a bill that would close one of the loopholes when it comes to harsher punishments for dealers.
The dangers of possessing hard drugs with fentanyl creates rapid escalation of violence and permanent life-changing consequences.
Assembly Bill 2336 would create harsher penalties for dealers, making it a felony to possess fentanyl and a loaded firearm. The law already exists for substances like methamphetamine, cocaine, and heroin. San Joaquin County District Attorney Ron Freitas supports this bill, saying it directly targets dealers.
I cannot protect the citizens of San Joaquin County alone. And without tools like this bill that the Assembly member is proposing.
Assemblymember Villaputa says he is making the fight against fentanyl a priority. Last year, his bill adding prison time for possession of fentanyl was signed into law. Coming up on To the Point, a special election to fill the seat of expelled Congressman George Santos, what this could mean for the presidential race. Plus, a new honors college in Sacramento, how it is bridging a gap in our community. And later, encouraging the love of quilting, the group using fabric, threads, and needles to tell stories that represent Black culture.
And I think it's a beautiful method of expression. And people who wouldn't ordinarily find that information in a book may find it expressed in a quilt.
Welcome back. Tonight, we're getting a look at more of the damage left in Southern California after torrential rains. Right now, multi-million-dollar homes are teetering on the edge of cliffs after chunks of land washed away. County officials say the structures are not at risk of imminent collapse, though. It comes as cleanup is still underway from hundreds of landslides and mudslides across the state. Pretty jarring video there, Monica.
Yeah.
Right? And you're tracking 3 storms over the weekend, hopefully with not as intense results as that.
I'll tell you, you got some good structural engineers to keep those those houses well above the cliff there.
No kidding.
As we head in through Southern California, big break right now for the wet weather, but we have multiple storm systems heading our way. The first of which is primarily affecting Northern California, as you can see on this Valentine's Day. It's been on and off showers throughout the afternoon and the evening. Snow heavy at times for this Sierra with our winter storm warning in effect until 4 o'clock tomorrow. In the 80-50 corridor, it's going to be that winter weather advisory through 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And tonight, we're actually going to expire the wind advisory. We still have some fairly gusty winds for the central and northern part of the Sacramento Valley. But again, this is just storm system number 1. Saturday, we get number 2 coming through, and then late Sunday through next Tuesday, an even more powerful weather system rolling on through. Highs today right around 60 throughout the valley, 50s for the foothills and 40s for the Sierra. We'll see about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of rain left over from this current storm system, and then several more inches of snow coming in tonight through early tomorrow for the Sierra. In fact, some areas by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon will have accumulated up to 2 feet of snow. Tomorrow, though, for the afternoon, it's a dry day under that ridge of high pressure. It keeps us dry through Friday. Here comes storm system number 2 on Saturday, and this one will head more into Southern California as opposed to the one right now, mainly affecting Northern California. And then we'll get into that third storm system by overnight Sunday into Monday. That one looks like it's going to be a pretty powerful storm system coming through. Something to watch certainly over the holiday weekend for President's Day, big travel period. Friday and Sunday, if you're headed up to the mountains, look to be okay. But Monday could be some dangerous travel in the mountains and in the valley.
Monica, thank you. Next on To the Point, Democrats have flipped a seat in the U.S. House, what this could mean for the 2024 election. And a new honors college is coming to Sacramento. The students it will serve and the impact it will have. Tonight in Your Voice, Your Vote, Democrats have flipped a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives, narrowing an already slim Republican majority. Democrat Tom Suozzi defeating Republican Mazi Pilip in a special election to replace Republican George Santos. He was expelled by Congress in December. Rena Roy has the latest.
A major win for House Democrats.
It's time to move beyond the petty partisan bickering and the finger pointing. It's time to focus on how to solve the problems.
Tom Suozzi coming out on top in this New York special election, replacing disgraced ex-Congressman George Santos, flipping the seat and narrowing the already slim Republican majority in the House. New Yorkers braving a snowstorm to cast their votes Tuesday. The 3-time former congressman defeating Republican Mazi Pilip, a mother of 7 who served in the Israeli military.
We are fighters. Yes, we lost, but it doesn't mean we're going to end here.
Members of Congress also reacting today.
Their candidate ran like a Republican. He sounded like a Republican talking about the border and immigration, because everybody knows that's the top issue.
Tom Suozzi talked about common sense solutions. Tom Suozzi won.
President Joe Biden's campaign manager, Julie Chavez Rodriguez, celebrating the victory in a statement, calling this a loss for Donald Trump. While Trump lashed out at Pilip online, calling her a very foolish woman who didn't embrace the MAGA movement. Both candidates focusing their campaigns on immigration. Pilip attempted to blame Democrats for the surge in migrants from the southern border.
Tom Suozzi created this mess. We cannot afford sending him to D.C.
Suozzi vowing to work on bipartisan solutions.
They want us to start working together. So our message is very clear. Either get on board or get out of the way.
Tom Suozzi will hold on to the seat for the next 11 months before a new Congress is sworn in. If he wants to keep his seat after that, he'll have to run in the November election. And here in California, we're just 3 weeks away from our March 5th primary election. Right now, ballots are being sent out. Every registered California voter should receive one in the mail. Here are some key dates to know. Next Tuesday, February 20th, is the last day to register for the primary election. Your vote by mail ballot can be turned in now by mail at a drop-off location or at your county elections office. Some vote centers will open early for voting starting February 24th. You can find all of this information and more about key races right now on abc10.com/election. ABC 10 is celebrating Black History Month. A new honors college is set to open this fall at Sacramento State. It will primarily serve Black and African American students. The university's president, Dr. Luke Wood, spoke exclusively with our Chris Thomas about the impact this will have.
And so we're creating an institution within the institution, because our 75-year history has shown that as a campus, we have not been as effective as we should be in serving our Black and African American students. So we create this set-alone experience that provides them with the dignity that they deserve.
President Wood says the space is expected to be over 6,000 square feet with a seminar room for their lectures and classes, as well as office spaces and a student center. They plan to launch with 70 students this fall and hope to grow the program to at least 1,000 students. The enrollment process has already started, and you can watch more of Chris's conversation with President Wood right now on abc10.com. Every February, we celebrate Black History Month. The theme this year is African Americans and the Arts. It's an opportunity to highlight African American artists, past and present, and their significant contributions to society. Tonight, ABC 10's Candace Redd explores the quilting of Black culture.
Roxy Mason spends her retirement quilting at home in Sacramento.
It's like putting a puzzle together.
She's been quilting for 10 years.
I just find it challenging, also relaxing.
Stitched with love, Roxy makes quilts for her family.
Grandchildren and brothers and sisters, great nieces and nephews, and at least in my family, that as far as quilting and the culture of growing up around quilts, it would have been more for comfort.
The International Quilt Museum says quilting has a rich and diverse history from the ancient to the modern world.
And the first evidence that we know of quilting is actually found in an Egyptian tomb. So the idea of quilting and its patterning is really ubiquitous throughout the world and throughout time.
Some quilters and scholars say enslaved African Americans may have used coated quilts to navigate the Underground Railroad, but the museum says there's no evidence of that happening.
Within a family, within a culture, could they have created quilts and used them to portray a message? That is something we've seen through quilting, always throughout quilting. So I do think that these messages are often found in quilts. And what that message is unique to the individual.
I stitch down all kinds of African fabrics.
Yvonne Warren uses quilts to promote Black culture.
Everybody should learn about everyone's culture.
She owns Jewels and Fiber Art Studio in Sacramento and mostly makes art to wear.
I make garments that have a lot of quilting techniques in them, and some of my purses as well. I like crazy quilts and a lot of stitching that goes on the top to give it some surface design and texture.
For Yvonne, quilting is an outlet for creative expression.
So I use my own techniques when it comes to making a piece, and it may go, I don't know if it'll go on a bed or be a wrap, but it'll be a piece of art somewhere.
Oh. Wow. The Sisters Quilting Collective in Sacramento encourages African American artists and others to share their love for quilting. Sonia Lopes joined the group from the start in 2012.
My family became biracial, and I wanted to learn more about African art and culture, and if we learn, maybe we can learn to do better.
The group meets each month to talk about fiber arts and ways to give back to the community.
Well, we do a lot of quilts for underprivileged children. We make fleece hats and scarves and give them away during the winter.
With the use of fabric, thread, and needles, quilters tell stories that represent Black people, history, and culture for all to celebrate.
We have some famous quilters, Faith Ringgold, and there's a tremendous list of women and men who create and tell stories. And people who wouldn't ordinarily find that information in a book may find it expressed in a quilt.
According to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, quilting is a symbol of the blending of different cultural traditions, and each tradition borrows from and contributes to this art form. Next on To The Point, a controversial dam removal process at the California-Oregon state line, why it's happening, and the progress made so far. The world's largest dam removal project is underway right now, and it's happening along the California-Oregon state line. 4 dams along the Klamath River are scheduled to be removed by the end of the year. When completed, more than 400 miles of native salmon habitat will be restored. The dam removals project has taken decades to approve. It created controversy and tension between Native American tribes and property owners who live along the Klamath River.
And there's no guarantee if our homes do tumble down that they will take care of us. We're literally, I call it collateral damage.
I was out here protesting from the time I was a little kid to undam the Klamath River.
Our John Bartel has been following the progress of the dam's demolition. He'll have both sides of the emotional and complicated issues that come with it. Don't miss this special report tomorrow on To The Point at 6:30. And as always, we want to hear what's going on in your community. You can shoot the team an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. We hope you have had a great Valentine's Day so far and enjoy any other plans you might have this evening. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Jeopardy is next.
Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.